want to turn now to Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota. And Senator, you are a prosecutor. I'm sure you have a feeling or two about members of the jury plotting with the defense team on what arguments they might be able to make that would be more persuasive to the other jurors. What do you make of that?
As Garrett pointed out, this is a trial like no other, and I think we shouldn't be surprised that people of the ilk of Cruz and Hawley are meeting with them and talking to them. But I do think it's significant, Joy, that there were, I'd say, about 40 senators, Republicans, that were there, and nearly every Democrat. Most of the time they were there. They weren't wandering around, and they were like we were, riveted on the evidence and the facts and this tremendous presentation by the House managers. I don't know what else they could do. They made the case in a cogent fashion, showing, as you pointed out earlier, not just what Donald Trump did, but what he didn't do, not calling the National Guard. Vice President Pence had to do that. Leader Schumer and Pelosi and McConnell had to do that, not telling his people to go home. And then, of course, he could have tweeted out, "Go home now," and they would have obeyed. And he didn't do that. Instead, it's a police officer wedged behind a door, screaming and writhing in pain, who are the people that were literally putting their bodies to save ours. And literally were standing up for our democracy, which he failed to do.
Well, you just made a point that I want to, and I'm switching up what I'm asking my poor team to do, but I want to play to your very point. Donald Trump's power over his base, I think, is a very important point here. That he has this sort of mesmerism over millions of people who will do whatever he says. Case in point, the guy with the horns on his head, that dude who everybody has come to know as the QAnon shaman, Jacob Angeli. Here he is talking about being obedient, showing how obedient he's one of the insurrectionists. Take a look.
What's your message to everybody now? Like, what are you yelling at?
Oh, Donald Trump asked everybody to go home. He just put out a tweet. It's a minute long. He asked everybody to go home.
Why do you think so?
Because, dude, we won the day.
My dad said
won.
Do you feel like maybe the one extra thing that the managers could do is call witnesses like that guy?
That's going to be up to them. You always know when a case comes to a certain point, you make a decision on how you make your case best. But I thought it was so compelling, the evidence I had today. I hadn't seen some of it before. The Facebook posts of people showing, "This is me," showing off to Donald Trump, literally with an arrow with the words written on the post so he would see it, because they wanted their president to know. They literally said, "We were invited here." They're yelling at the police officers. They're yelling at the Capitol staff, who, by the way, not enough attention paid on the janitors, and so many of them black and brown people who had to clean up after these guys, hiding in fear, and then have to go and clean up feces off the walls and blood off the floor. So they're yelling at them. We were invited by the President of the United States. I think it was Joe Neguse who said, the Congressman Neguse said, he said it and they did it. That's basically what happened here.
And you know these Republicans, you deal with them on a day-to-day basis. How compelling might the words of other Republicans be? I found the actual Republican, the clips of Republicans calling on Trump to do the right thing or condemning his actions to have been some of the most compelling testimony today. I'm going to play a little bit of it for you. This is Mike Gallagher and Chris Christie that day saying, call it off, and talking to Donald Trump.
Mr. President, you have got to stop this. You are the only person who can call this off. Call it off.
Pretty simple. The president caused this protest to occur. He's the only one who can make it stop. What the president said is not good enough.
That was in real time. I mean, Lindsey Graham was apparently calling Ivanka Trump, begging for Trump to help call off the attack. These are their friends, people on their side, Trump people, saying, Trump, you're the only one who can stop this. You know these folks. Are there 17 of them who will be moved by Republicans making that argument?
I don't know how they could not be moved by what we heard today. But we had one change his vote. You know who that was, and that was Senator Cassidy of Louisiana, and voted to allow the trial to proceed. I do want to make clear that that was kind of the reset. That was the decision and I thought Congressman Raskin made this argument very strongly today. You decide what's the law of the case. The law of the case is that this is constitutional to have an impeachment trial for a president because there's no January exemption. So now it starts fresh, and they've got to look at the facts. This is about the facts of the case. And I don't know how this couldn't be compelling. And as you pointed out, Joy, having these Republicans, they were frantic. Kevin McCarthy went on Fox News because the president wasn't doing it. He had to go and say this was wrong and it's against the law and those kinds of things. They also played his words at the trial yesterday. So literally, they were all clamoring and trying to get the president to do something. He wouldn't do it. Hour after hour went by, and then he ends the day by calling them patriots, by thanking them, by saying he loved them.
Yeah, and I didn't see one of them. Josh Hawley wasn't out there giving the high fist to those people when the insurrectionists were in-house. He was running with everybody else. They were all terrified. So I don't know how they make this argument. I don't know how they sleep at night. I'm just being honest. But you're a nicer person than me, so you deal with them every day. Senator Amy Klobuchar, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joy.
Okay.